This is the Numatic NV250. These were an absolute staple of 70s, 80s and 90s commercial tub vacs. These were literally just part of the golden era of commercial tub vacs. There's loads of them about still, working to this day, whether that be in workshops, factories, even houses. There's loads of them still going, and that really just goes down to the one point of reliability that Numatic have always promised us. This one is from 1988, and this one is navy blue. It's from the 21st of September, I think, or 9th of September. It's one or the other. This has its original metal rimmed filter, as you can see, and it feels really good compared to some of the even modern filters now. These ones feel really good. This one's in pretty alright condition despite the paint chipping. These would have had the clips on the side, but they didn't have the navy blue NV250s from back then, in the early 70s. At the end, I'll go over a full history brief over these. Let me put a bag in this one. These bags are quite small, which is a bit annoying, so I'm thinking I'm just going to go with the genuine bags next time. Ignore my dog in the background. She seems quite interested. So yeah, years ago, at one point, they had the PTO on the side of the actual metal body, and the blower port would actually be in the centre of the metal lid, on the back. That switch would have also been black until some point around mid-80s. They had changed it to red. Early 80s, I think, actually. No, it would have been the late 70s. Forgive me, I'm getting myself all confused here. I don't know every single last detail, so I'm just going to go over a brief history thing afterwards. Right, just a brief pause. The reason I was tapping the top casing then was because when these were new, these should have been earthed and had a 3-core cable. This one doesn't, but like it's not dangerous without, well, you should have it earthed, but apparently the rubber seal on the top protects it. Don't take my word for it, because I can't guarantee it, but yeah. So it runs really nice. There are slight bearing squeals, but that normally happens when it's stored in a cold environment, and this one's stored in the cellar at the minute on its shelf. So yeah, so that is the Matsushita. That is what it's called. Panasonic D2 104N twin stage motor. Absolute tanks, those motors. They were introduced around 1987 with the new dry pneumatics, and they just sound really good and they last forever. Honestly, I've never actually seen one die. This would have had this Wesselwork single pedal combination floor head with the metal base plate. Quite iconic in the older tub vacs. Loads of them had this tool setup. And it would have had the short hose cuff, but I think it would have been that moulded one that it would have had, actually. The one that was moulded to the hose. Not moulded, the rubber one. wouldn't have been moulded. Well, it might have been, I can't remember. Same with this one, the PTO originally wouldn't have been there, and when they were introduced they would have been on the metal body and the blower port would be in the middle. Clips would also be on the side and the handle would be a bit different, and the bumper on the top would be rubber. This one also runs quite nice. It sounds a little bit louder, so I think the fans could do with blowing out, but it doesn't like sound vibraty or anything. Has nice suction. The only issue with these over time, they like the casings on them bend and they don't seal as well as they should. A good feature these things have is the blower port on the back. The only reason it makes that squeaky noise is because it doesn't seal properly. This happens, as I said, over time because the seals bend and morph and it's shit. Yeah. Here's the navy blue NV250 in action. Personally, I think this one might be my favourite. The colour on it's really nice. Its paint does need a bit of work, so I might get it re-powder coated. Starting off with filters. From 1976, which is the first model, in 1977, it was a grey filter with a plastic filter guard. Then from 1977 to 1979, it was a grey filter with a metal filter guard. Then the permaflow filter came around 1979 and then finished production 1981, and it was a white silk filter with a metal filter guard. The toolkit was also pretty basic. It had a new flex hose with 70s fittings and a rubber cuff, a 4-piece steel wands, 300mm glossy red combination nozzle, a 65mm dusting brush, a 240mm crevice tool, and a 150mm upholstery tool with a slide-on brush. So, a bit of backlog to the NV250. This was the first iteration of the NV250, and it was released in 1976 as the successor to the previous model, the NV3. This model had the 3F814GN Matsushita motor, and they had used this motor up until 1980. This model featured its latches on the side of the metal body, as opposed to the later models having them on the front of the body, as can be seen here. So going back to the front of the machine, if you look at the top on the lid, it has a hexagonal logo, as opposed to later models like mine having the just text black lettering. Also, the handle at the back is not like more outwards, as it has no PTO in the back. The switch on it is black, and as you can see on the front, the hose is a lot more rounded off, and the wheels have chrome centres. This was apparently to make the casters a lot stronger, but I don't know entirely. The machine did not come with a face kit from brand new. That was released around 1978, 1979. Here is the second iteration of the NV250, still featuring its chrome casters, but it has a face kit and the wheels are on the front. The filter has a metal cage as well. This model was made up until around 1984 with its non-outlined face. In the summer of 1980, we saw the 3F814G motor being replaced by the new redesigned Panasonic 3F804GN motor. Like its predecessor, the 3F804GN motor consumes 680 watts and 800 watts max in use. Originally, the NV250 was only available in the Nutex red paint. Especially formulated oven-cured epoxy resin finish. It wasn't until the early 80s when two new variations of blue were introduced to the lineup, a regular light blue and the OCS dark blue, both of which were specially made for cleaning contract companies and lack Numatic branding on the front lid. Speaking of which, the Numatic logo was originally painted on, but sometime in the mid to late 80s it became a set of stickers. In contrast to the NV200, which received an update in 1983 to include a power takeoff socket, the NV250 had to wait until the following year for this feature. When the NV250 eventually had its power takeoff socket integrated, it was initially positioned on the rear steel motor housing. However, it was soon relocated to the rear side of the service centre handle when it was updated to accommodate it. The kit it was featured with was the 1B, which was around from 1983 to 1984. The new flex hose with the moulded cuff, the 3-piece stainless steel ones, the 300mm matte red combination nozzle, the 65mm diameter dusting brush, the 240mm crevice tool, the 150mm upholstery nozzle, the 150mm slide-on brush for the upholstery nozzle, and the 120mm double taper adapter. Specifications of the machine. This machine weighed around 9.5 kilograms, measurements 345mm in width, 345mm in length, and 370mm in height, I think. The noise level was 59 to 61 decibels. The power was 800 watts, 240 volts, multi-stage turbine motor. This machine was radio TV suppressed, and the filtration was a Permaflow twin seal, 96% efficiency during use. The capacity was 9 litres bagless, 6 litre bagged. The cable was 8.4 metres with a fitted plug, and the manoeuvrability was rear mounted soft tired wheels and swivelling metal casters. Approvals double insulated to class 2 standards, filtration and noise level approvals are present. So now we are going to 1987 to 1995. So right off the bat in 1987, with the release of the new 1000 watt D2 104M motor, Numatic started a silver edition SE250 which ran alongside the matching NVR260. The pair are seldom to find nowadays, as they both sold poorly due to not offering anyone anything different to the standard counterpart. Sometime later, around 1989, the SE250 changed back to its roots, with the model number now displaying NV250 and staying in production until 1990. 1996 and sold under limited retailers. During the late 1980s to mid 1990s, Numatic would offer the NV250 in several new colours and combinations, such as the silver SE250, navy blue, green, white, brown, beige, alongside the standard famous red that we're all accustomed to. Other company exclusive variants were made. These consist of initial white and blue, Pall Mall, dark blue and orange. Specifications: the measurements 345mm in length, 345mm in width, and 370mm in height. Noise level 59 to 61 decibels. Motor 1000 watt suction, 2500mm. Airflow 43.5 litres a second. It was TV radio suppressed, and the filtration was Filtrex 1987, Permatex 1988 to 1995. Capacity 9 litre bagless, 6 litre bagged. Cable 8.4 meters, weighs 8.5 kilograms. Standard 32mm commercial grade tools and accessories suited for the NV250, available from the 1970s through to 1983. The NVA 13B, one-piece steel floor wand. The NVA 17B, the steel gulper scraper tool. NVA 18B, the steel gulper scraper tool again. This one's 610mm. The NVA 19B, 610mm flat steel crevice tool. The NVA 30B, the Easy Ride Turbo Brush air powered carpet sweeper. NVA 31B, wide track full brush nozzle with glide wheels. And the NVM 20B, the Protecto glass fiberglass filter for boiler cleaning. And the NVM 77B, the 305mm hose carrier. Let me know where I can get one, because I'm after one for my 250. I'm after one that's cheap though. From 1995 onwards, Numatic had discontinued the NV250 and instead re-released it, but under the NQS and NVQ model number nameplate. This machine actually did not have the D2 motor anymore. This had the Panasonic UD11054 1100 watt single stage motor. These motors were alright, but they were known for their fans basically exploding. By 1995 they had done them in an array of colours. They did them in green. They did the NV250 in green actually, but there weren't that many. And by 1997 they had a model for Machine Mart known as the Wendy, and this model discontinued production in 2001. You can still buy the NV250 under the NQS 250 or NQS 350B nameplate.